Hi, I'm Dr. Lisa Thompson of drlisamthompson.com, and in today's video I want to share with you one thing that can sideline your success in your business in a very big way, and that is getting easily worked up over situations you cannot control. So I'm going to give you an example of what happened recently as a way to be a good lesson for you. So the other day, I registered for a webinar that my very good friend and mentor, Ray Higdon, was putting on. And it was for learning how to prospect and craft prospecting messages on Facebook Messenger. Now, Ray gave a heads up notice about a little over a week ago that he was going to do this webinar. It was going to be paid. It was going to be, he priced it for under like $20. And he said, I'm going to do a deep dive on teaching people how to prospect on Facebook Messenger. So he released the link, the registration link he had out. He released it early on Sunday. So people could register to get the, to be on live with him, or he's going to do a live webinar. And he said as part of the price, you're also going to get the live recording. So what happened was I registered, and here it is the day of the webinar, and I didn't get the webinar registration link. And I know that in the past, whenever Ray does webinars, lots of people attend. Okay, he gets lots of attendance on his webinars because his webinars are just so good. And so what happened was, about a half hour before the webinar started, I went and I asked for the get the link again from support, and I was able to get it. Now, the platform Ray was using was GoToWebinar, and in the past, Ray could have up to 2,500 people attend his webinar. That was like the max amount that GoToWebinar had. And Ray hasn't used GoToWebinar in quite some time. So when Ray started, he's doing GoToWebinar, and he's about to go on, all of a sudden he noticed that there was, the cutoff now wasn't 2,500 max participants. It was about 1,000. And he had over 2,000 people sign up for this training, that have paid for this training. And some people did not get on the webinar. Now, I was lucky enough where I was able to get on the live training. But as I was listening to the live training, we had like a Facebook group up and on social media. And there were quite a few people who didn't get on that webinar that were really, really upset. I mean, they were really, really mad. And they started going to social media and started slamming Ray. They started, really making quite the fuss. So the next day, Ray does something very classy. Ray goes out and he explained what happened. He said, you know what, I apologize. This is what happened. And this is what we're going to do to rectify it in the future. And he said, and then he turned it into a teachable moment. And this is what I thought was so powerful. He said, for some who reacted, they were kind of bummed, but they were gracious about it. And they understood that, sometimes you're not going to get on the webinar, but they knew they were going to get the recording. And so Ray acknowledged them. And he said, for those who are really angry and you're wanting me to feel bad, I'll apologize, but I'm not going to feel bad because I don't. And I thought that was really, really telling, because what Ray was saying is how you respond in situations when you're investing time and money and things don't go the way you expect them to go, and you overreact and you take things personally and you get really upset and you dwell on that, you're going to become you're going to attract who you are. That says a lot about what your character is. And he said, I was like that too many years ago, where I would overreact. He said, I had to really work on that discipline. And it makes so much sense that, when you take the time to learn how to, when a situation happens that's out of your control, that, it doesn't go the way you want it to. I mean, a lot of times we have an expectation set up in our head of how we want things, and when it doesn't go our way, we get really upset. And so if we learn to, when something happens, allow ourselves maybe a little bit of time to get, to feel that emotion, but then pivot and focus on where we want to go. Focus on where we want to go, because whatever you focus on is going to expand. And so if you sit there and you do nothing but complain and bellyache and do that, and you go and you do that on social media, you go and you do that to anybody you talk to, even outside social media, sit there and you grouse to your family, grouse to your friends, and you become a complainer, when you're building your business, you're going to attract complainers. You're going to attract people who are going, they're going to do the same thing to you. Okay? So it's a real powerful lesson that I learned the other night on how to respond when something happens, and to show an element of graciousness, and to look at what can we learn. And that was the big question Ray asked himself is, this happened right before he went on the webinar. He all of a sudden didn't have his max capacity dropped by almost half. And he's realizing, oh my gosh, I'm going to have a lot of upset people. So what he also did during the webinar is he had some of his employees and some of his ambassadors go out into into social media and into the Facebook group and do some apologies and reminders and reassurances of people ahead of time. And so what he learned from this is, okay, this happened. Can't change the fact that GoToWebinar did this. This was beyond my control. What I'm going to do in the future is, whenever I'm going to do a paid event, a paid webinar event, I'm going to tell people that it's capped at this, and, you're going to have to show up early to get your seat. And if you get knocked out, we're going to try to get that webinar recording and replay up and in your back office as soon as possible. We're going to have a faster turnaround time. So if you can't make it, you're going to have the replay right away. And so those were the lessons that he learned. So that's something you've got to take into account too, is when this happens, to have that little bit of moment, maybe, have 3 or 4 minutes to feel real upset, but then pivot and say, what can I learn from this, and what can I do to make it so it doesn't happen again, and make it a more better experience. So I hope you found value from this today. If you did, leave a comment and share. Now, if you're really looking at how to grow a team, how to develop your leadership as you grow your network marketing business, I have a great the book that Ray wrote, and you can get it on Amazon. And it is his freakishly effective ways to grow your network marketing team. And I know that's not it's not the exact title, but it's Freakishly Effective Leadership for Network Marketers. That's what the title is. So what I'll do is I'll put the link to that book. You can get it on Amazon. I'll put it in the comments section. It's the first pinned comments in the comments section. You can get it in multiple formats. Easy read. And it's really going to help you change your mindset so that when you have things happen to you, you're not going to be self-sabotaging yourself or self-sabotaging your team. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.